Hi there from Bugeyeguys. Today I am going to give you a couple of tours of this really stunning 1964 Austin Healey 3000 Mark III. This car I know extremely well because it's been my own personal car for roughly the last 8 years. One of the cars that I've been using in my small collection. I just could not let this car go when I bought it because it's such a great example, and it happens to be in my humble opinion, the best year for this particular Big Healey series. I've owned quite a few Big Healeys, and I'll tell you in this video why I think this one is the best. So to start with, the small park lights in the front here and the single park lights I think are so much more graceful for the lines of the car. The later 3000 Mark IIIs had twin lights there, and I think that kind of killed the look. The second thing that's particularly special about these is that they sit a little bit lower. In the later series of Mark IIIs, the Phase 2, they raised the car for ground clearance, and ground clearance is an issue on these cars. They're very low, and if you had a lot of speed bumps in your neighborhood, you may want the later series. But for pure sex appeal and for the way the wheel fits in the wheel arch, these Phase 1 cars are, in my opinion, an awful lot more roadster and aggressive looking, more authentic to the original design, and just, I think, that much more beautiful. There's also in the backs these smaller, they're the same as on Bugeye's and on many other English cars of the era, these glass beehives and the small reflector. The later series had a reflector on the bumper and a much larger set of lenses, so they were much more cumbersome, and in my opinion I think this is just much more sleek and elegant. And then another advantage of this early series is that you have a straight through twin pipe exhaust on this side. The later Phase 2 had a muffler in the back, a second muffler, a resonator that then exited on the passenger side. So with this straight through setup, you have, again, more elegant, more raw, more simple, more beautiful in terms of a sound as well. I have the car configured with the top up for sun. We're coming to sort of late summer here in New England, and so this is the way I use the car all summer long. I happen to love the way this top fits. It's a really nice top. The new tops are very difficult to fit. This one is an excellent Everflex top. The bows are in the right place, and it just has this sort of, I don't know, I just think that it looks right on the car. And then we have the window with a zipper. This was another stock feature, but this is a newer top, but it's probably 10 years old or a little longer. But it's a zip down window, so what you can do is use this much like a bimini on a boat. We have a lot of sunshade, a lot of air coming through the car and exiting the back, which makes it a very practical car, much more user-friendly than a side curtain early Big Healey. And then in addition to that, you have this wooden dash that all the Mark IIIs had. So you get kind of the most elegant features of the series, like the dashboard and the switch layout and the armrest, the console. It's just a very nice looking, more upscale interior, and of course roll-up windows, as all the Mark IIIs had. But then you have these kind of more aggressive external features for a much nicer look. I have the top unfastened, I see, and I'll put that down for you in a few minutes, but the top works quite well. I think in general what's special about this car is that it's a very user-friendly classic British car. It does a lot of things that modern cars do, like have roll-up windows. It even has door handles. How's that for a great feature? They're non-locking, so you have to smile at that. But I think this is actually a really attractive lever that came on these. And then you have a nice tonneau and a nice boot cover as well. So you have sort of the raw elemental sports car feel coupled with a lot of quote-unquote modern conveniences that came on later cars. There are a few little minor blemishes on this body. There's one little blister right there. It hasn't changed in a long time. There's one other scratch up here, if I can find it, but the paint is excellent. This was I'm pretty sure this was a respray, but I'm not sure. Here's the other scratch. It's a very accurate Healey blue. It also has this, I think that's a gold or black pinstripe. We'll have to look to see if that was a factory or not. But you have a beautiful alignment where the door meets the rear fender, which is something that when these cars are restored, it's often not a nice uniform fit. So this is really an excellent example. The trunk fits quite well. Most of these cars have been hit in the back at one point or another. I'm not talking about a major accident, but it doesn't take much to do a lot of damage back here. But this boot lid fits quite well. And the beading along the fenders is also in really nice shape. So cosmetically, stance-wise, the car is quite excellent. Moving on to the boot of this car, it's very clean and it has the correct Hardora mat there. I've got the blue tonneau, which is beautiful. There's also a tonneau bar in a black bag. That bar supports the tonneau. And then a spare. This has a later type kill switch here off the battery, a recent battery. That kill switch is removable as an anti-theft, so you take the red handle with you if you'd like, and that disables the battery. But the trunk lid's also excellent. You can see it's not like it's wrinkled from old repairs, and that's a really nice sign. I've also put the boot cover on the top for you, so you can see this is actually a really good one. The new ones never look this good. These are the older 10X fittings, which are gorgeous. They're still engraved. I think the new ones made in China don't have the engraving. It says 10X made in England or whatever, and there's a series of those holding this on. And so this could be the original cover. It's kind of curious on this car because I'm not seeing all the new stuff you usually see on fresh restorations, but it looks so good that it's kind of making me wonder if maybe this really is a 30,000 mile car. But again, I can't make that claim, so it is what it is. And the chrome is also excellent. I don't know that a reproduction grille, if it was received one, would look this good. That's a nice grille. And the bumper as well is really nice. And that's the value of this car. It fits really well. It's a tight car. It drives really well. The engine bay is, it shows a little bit of age. It's not all perfectly detailed like a freshly restored car might be, but everything here is working well. It still has the canister oil filter that would have been original. It has a newer coil. And then of course this aluminum radiator, and then under the oil filter is a high output starter, which are both really nice upgrades for these cars because they tend to run hot, and when they're hot, they're harder to start, so the high output starter handles that workload much more gracefully. The underside of the bonnet lid is also excellent, as you can see. All in all, this is a superb car. It makes me kind of sad to think about parting with it, but I'm not using it, and we have plenty of cars we use. There's just always cars to test drive here, and that tends to be what I'm driving when I go out for a drive. The one thing about this car is that I believe this is a 64, L64, I think, if I'm reading that right. So it's the original windshield. There are a couple little stone chips in the windshield. So, that is an opportunity. If somebody was really bothered by that, they could get a new windshield glass. Those are available. But I didn't have any problem using this one for my relationship with the car. This chrome is also, I would guess, all original, and it's quite fine. There is just a little bit of patina on it, but it's really nice chrome on the stanchions and the vent windows and around the cockpit here. So all in all, just a superb Austin Healey 3000 from Bugeyeguys.